What's good? Lucky Lefty Podcast, Onora Boys in the building, brought to you by Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, you got to make sure you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Onora Boys in the building. MALIK, ZAIRE, SHAUN Davis. Onora Whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. Subscribe, YouTube, Lucky Lefty Network. Hit that thumbs up, it helps with the views. And then make sure you share. And make sure you leave your comments and questions. We respond to all. TikTok, X, Twitter, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. Lucky Legends Podcast, Players Only Podcast. CFB Nation, audio edibles every day on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Yeah, we're still always dedicated to making sure we are the home of the misguided passion. Forever committed to making sure that we do what left? We spin it different. Left, I know for you, the holiday is all about your two youngsters, bro. I know it's all about your two youngsters, but how was your holiday at large?
Great, man. Just being with family is all that matters, man. And you look back on times that you could talk about dates that you spent with each other, and I think that's the biggest thing.
It is so amazing, man. No need to regurgitate what has been spoken several times this year. Holiday was a different holiday for me and my family for obvious reasons. But it was absolutely a time for us to really, in the midst of what some people might deem a storm, to really see the goodness of God in our life, bro. It really was. And let me tell you something, bro. My mom made the best prime rib she's ever made in her life. When I tell you this prime rib, she said when she went to buy the prime rib, the butcher looked at her crazy. Because she was like, most people walk in and they ask for an 8-pound or a 10-pound. And she walked in and she asked the butcher for an 18-pound prime rib.
18-pound prime rib.
She said, I need an 18-pound prime rib. And he looked at her. And so she said a lady next to her was like, how long do you cook that? You know, my mom was just laughing and it's not us, bro. Right? You know, I come from a family. I have two twin sisters. I have two younger brothers. I'm the oldest of 5. So it's not the children, bro. It's the grandkids. All of the grandkids are all of them are either in college or have graduated from college. And they just eat like aliens, bro. It's like they have 2-3 plates stacked up at a time. And I had to remind one of my nephews, bro, you do understand you can go back and get another plate. He's like, no, I'm eating everything. And it was just, man, family, like you said, it's all about family time. And I hope everyone had an incredible experience with your family over the holiday season. Unfortunately, for those of you that might have had to either work or weren't able to connect with family because of certain things in your life, man, may God's peace and happiness still find you in this time of this season. But it's time to go. It's go time left. I'm ready for January 1st to be here right now. I'm ready to be here right now.
Right now.
That left for the last 2 days. First of all, we're going to listen and hear from both head coaches, Kirby Smart, Marcus Freeman about this matchup, about the transfer portal, how it impacts them. And then we're going to hear from them talking about the quarterbacks, the opposing quarterbacks. But I just want to point out something. I tweeted this out yesterday. I've been doing research for like the last 2 days, listening to Georgia podcasts, reading up, looking at stats. So the majority, or not, I won't say the majority, there were several Georgia-centric podcasts that predicted that Indiana would beat Notre Dame. And I was laughing as I was watching this, Left. And then I took a step back and I said, y'all, they didn't really believe that, Left. They didn't believe that. That's what they were hoping would happen. They were hoping that Indiana would squeak by and make it to them so that they could play a scrimmage in a warm-up game for the semifinals. That's what they were hoping, Left. That's what they were hoping, right? Because their tune kind of changed after they saw that physical beating that Notre Dame did. And then all of the same podcasts, like a day after that game, they were like, man, I kind of got a lot of respect for their defense. They're really physical. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. We know that your players. Go ahead, Love.
And you're absolutely right, because I think what's so funny is that they didn't want to give us any credit because they want us to be out. But I think Georgia is being put in the position of being the big brother that's sent out to go handle the light work. They like college football is like, look, y'all, our best effort, our best foot forward is you guys. Y'all go beat up the bully, because everybody else over here kind of nervous. So they're looking like this. This is who y'all want us to take out the gladiator first. And I think they're a little stunned at the fact that when they're watching us, they're like, okay, I'm a little bit more worried than I thought. Some of this stuff, okay, yeah, we used to laugh at Notre Dame, but we taking a closer look, is getting a little bit even.
Right.
Something's creeping in the minds of Georgia fans that they're like, okay, this isn't just a walk in the park. We much rather preferred Indiana win. We much rather prefer putting the battery in their back, because I don't know if we necessarily need that right now. Because they're coming off of a stretch of injuries, scheduling that was tough, SEC championship, beating the team twice. They coming off of that. Now they jumping back into the hot water, because we already been bubbling.
And you know what?
You shower on.
Oh yeah.
Trying to turn it on trying to get it warm. You turn it on hot real quick, and you test the water. You're like, ooh,
it's a little too hot. I'm not ready yet.
Turn it down a little bit. Yeah, that's what they get into. Wait, I thought we was gonna warm up. No, ain't no warm up. Jump in that hot water. Let's go. We gotta go to school. So I think that this is a little nervousness on both sides. It's more like they're not thinking of this as, oh, this is just a step to take. They're like, man, this might be one and done if we mess around. And I think Kirby understands that. And like we said, Kirby's the best motivator in college football. to convince a team that was clearly head and shoulders above everybody that they somehow was an underdog, somehow was going to lose 5 games. They really believed it. I think it's worth knowing that he's not going to come unprepared.
Man, let me tell you something, Left. When I really started to take a step back, at first I was like, yo, what are they talking about? Right? We received video in a text thread of Georgia podcast talking about purposely trying to hurt Riley Leonard if you're Georgia. I'm like, man, y'all sound real desperate. You don't sound like a confident team. You don't sound like a confident fan base. You sound real desperate right now. You sound, this is why I tell Notre Dame fans, a couple of Notre Dame fans reached out. Thank you for guys reaching out always and responding on YouTube, even after the show. You guys watch it after the live has ended. Reached out talking about, I don't have any worries or concerns. And my response was, come on, man, stop. Because now you're not being honest. Now your fandom is in overdrive. Relax. Because if you're taking a real look at this game, you know darn well there's some things that you should be concerned about. So to sit up here and act like, you won 2 national championships and you can beat your chest and say, I'm not worried about anything. See, I know I know how that looks. You know what I'm saying, Love?
Yeah.
I know how that looks. Coming off a 3-peat, my boy goes to play baseball. He comes back. I'm like, oh, I ain't worried. We're about to get back to this. I don't care if Shaq and Penny are down in Orlando. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about Charles Barkley out. I'm not worried about that. Oh, they put Charles Barkley with Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler. I'm not worried about that either. What's good? Carmelo, I'm not worried about that. See, when Michael Jordan left, I still was talking trash when it was just Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, bro. You remember that season when Mike left?
I mean, they even talking trash about they run without Jordan.
B.J. Armstrong, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, they all made the All-Star game. The replacement for Michael Jordan was Pete Myers. Yep. Pete Myers, bro. And they still took the New York Knicks to 7 games. Still took them to a 7th game. Scottie Pippen deserved to be MVP that season, by the way. I was still talking trash as a Bulls fan because I'm like, you're going to have to beat us. I don't care if he's not here. You got to beat us. Show me that we're not going to the NBA Finals. Because I believe with everything within me, that's what's going to happen. And that is the challenge that faces Notre Dame. You're facing a program. You're facing a fan base. Like, dude, talk that talk. I really don't have a problem with Georgia fans talking that talk.
Yeah, they have all the right.
Hey, talk that talk. I've been there. I've been there as a fan. Talk that talk. You should feel like, yeah, we're about to scrape these dudes. I don't care if our backup quarterback is starting. I don't care if our pass defense is atrocious. Bring it. We're going to show you. Step in these deep waters. They should absolutely be talking that trash. I have no problem. But just remember, you talk that trash, understand. I was talking trash, but I didn't have Black Jesus, bro. I didn't have Black Jesus in that game 7. Ultimately, that's what it came down to. And ultimately, Georgia has to realize, pun intended, you don't have them same dogs that you had 2 years ago.
No.
That roster is not as deep, not as thick. You're still Georgia. It's a little bit different fight. A little bit different fight. And that's what I'm excited to see both teams in this matchup. I really am. I'm excited to see how both teams react to these haymakers and these transitions and ebbs and flows and the ebb and flow of this game. I really am. I really think they're going to give us in prime time a fantastic quarterfinal for years to come. For years to come. I expect a great game out of both teams.
Yeah, I expect the same thing. I think that it's one where, we have a lot to prove. They have a lot to prove. And I think for us, we have more to gain in the sense of a respect level, regardless of record.
Mm-hmm.
Just the history of the last 3 years, this is a matchup I think Notre Dame needs, especially if it's not for the championship yet. It's just a stepping stone. And to gain our respect in this game to prepare for winning a championship, I think makes the story all the better and goes back to why I think this is one of the greater seasons, top 2, if not 1, that Notre Dame's ever had, just due to the circumstances and the length of time in the build-up and meeting those expectations.
Lucky Lefty podcast. So, Left, it is going to be a tremendous game. Kickoff right around 7:45 p.m. And there are going to be some extreme challenges that the Notre Dame offense has to face, and we're going to get to that. But for me, Left, this is, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, fans in the chat, super chats, GTB questions, put them in. We'll get to that as soon as we see them. But I want to give this question to you, Left. It's the quarterfinals. But I'm going to go out on a limb, bro. This needs to be the Riley Leonard Notre Dame offense game. We know what the Notre Dame defense is going to do. We know what we expect of the Notre Dame defense, especially going up against Gunnar Stockton as a backup quarterback. We expect them to play really well. However, points are needed. Points are needed in order to win. Not the semifinal, not the possible national championship matchup. This right here left, this is the Riley Leonard game, bro. This is when he can etch his name in the annals of Notre Dame football history. This performance on January 1st, because it's needed. Because I think the bulk of the pressure in this game lies squarely on the shoulders of the Notre Dame offense. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. But as far as Notre Dame becoming victorious, Notre Dame offense is going to have to step up, especially in crunch time. Did we lose left?
I mean, absolutely. And it's going to require, like you said, Riley Leonard to play his best game, almost something that we haven't seen before in the stance that it's going to take an equal effort of running and throwing the football to pull it off, in my opinion. Even Georgia Tech, as well as they ran the ball, they fell short not being able to be efficient enough throwing the football. And they got drug out into the deep waters for too long, and they couldn't hang with the champ. And I think for us, we can hang that long, but it's going to require to make plays in specific moments that's going to have to come through the air. I think Georgia is going to put majority of their effort in trying to stop the multiple run game that we have. And I think they will sacrifice a little bit of the pass early to see if Riley is threatening them enough, because I think they're going to be more aggressive than not. And if Riley Leonard can take advantage of the obvious one-on-one opportunities that we're going to have, is going to be clear. I don't think they're going to give him a lot of crazy looks where he's confused. I think it's going to be outright. Can you beat the blitz with the pass? Can you be accurate versus man? Can you get them off your back by hitting some down the field shots? That's just what the game's going to come to. I think from a physicality standpoint, we can hold up. I don't know about being dominant. If we do come out running the ball dominant, then it changes the perspective of the game. But I think this is a 4-quarter game, not a half. So even if things are working well in the first half, I think the second half adjustments I have faith in our coordinators to be able to do that as opposed to years in the past. But for them to be able to play that chess game in the second half is what matters. And I think we need to be up 2 scores in the fourth. If that's the circumstance, I think it puts us in a great position with them having a backup quarterback that we can be not even a comfortable thing, but when you're playing a team that doesn't know how to lay down, you're going to have to give them a surmountable climb when it's late in the game. Not a comfortable climb when it's close, but a surmountable climb when it's late. You down 2 scores with 2 minutes, that's perfect. Because then it's on us.
Yeah.
Because a lot of what they're depending on is we can physically hang with you, but who's going to make the mistake? We're dependent on the fact that we're champions and we know what the distance it takes to get there. It's like running a race. They know where the end is. We don't know. We in the lead and we out in front, but we don't know where the end is, and they do. So we're trying to beat them to a spot where they know what it takes. So for us, we have to play it smart, and we just have to be able to rise to the challenge in these moments where in championship teams they make and the other team doesn't. And I don't think it's a TCU situation where they'll just run away, because I do think from a depth and size physicality standpoint, we can hold up. But, when you're meeting in the middle, something's got to be that that next level. And I think we have the advantage at quarterback with the talent and the comfortability with playing 13 games at this point. That okay, you should be ready. It's no more, oh, you're still learning. It's no more, oh, you're taking your time to get comfortable. We need more practice. This is the test. This is it. This is what, all of it can be washed away if we don't perform the right way in this game. So with all the marbles on the table from a respect level, this is not so much for downing the season, but this is a perspective, a game-changing perspective, a program-changing game. Not Texas A&M, not Virginia, not Florida State. This game. Not even IU. IU is our warm-up. Play little brother down the street. You don't got to travel. They don't got to travel. It's like playing an inter-squad scrimmage. But when you step on that big ring this week, I think we're ready, and we gotta see if we can outlast a team that's gritty. I mean, you watch them in every game they've lost or won. They're not changing based on the team they're playing. Where we played to the level of our competition before, they're playing Georgia football every week.
You know what? That would be a concern for me if it was the previous head coach. This is one thing that I have to say about Marcus Freeman, bro. Effort won't be a problem. Playing hard won't be a problem. And we laugh because he utters the word so much. It literally could be a drinking game. You know what I'm saying? Like watching a Marcus Freeman press conference, and every time he says the word execution, take a drink, it literally could be a drinking game. That would be a drinking game for a Gavin. But it rings true. It really does. Because you can't use the lack of depth anymore, the lack of talent anymore. Maybe you want to talk about it at the wide receiver position, or maybe you want to talk about not having some big hogs, in the middle. But now you're nitpicking. When it comes to just overall team speed and talent and ability to invoke your will on another team, they do that. That's who they have become as a team and as a program. So now it's about what you have done and what you have been created being tested. I don't know about you, Left, but we always had this bridge building contest in high school. I think it was a nationwide thing. It wasn't just a Chicago thing. It was a nationwide thing because if you won locally, then you would go to the state tournament and then on to the national tournament. But like you would have to build a bridge, any type of bridge. And then you would put the weights on that bridge to see what it could withstand and how structurally strong it was built. This is this game to me for Notre Dame. They have built a bridge. Marcus Freeman has built a bridge. And now Georgia and Kirby Smart are the weights to test just how much this can hold, just how much the program can hold right now. What can you really do? This is that test. This is that test. And honestly, the offense, there's going to have to be some weight bearing posts and walls in the form of this Notre Dame offense. They cannot afford to not exist in this game. Those weight bearing strong points in the passing game have to be there. Have to be there. There has to be a couple of big plays. Has to be. You have to get a couple of chunk plays in the passing game, bro. You have to. You can go back and look at the matchup with Ohio State. You can go back and look at the SEC matchup with Alabama, you can go back and look at, because he is a direct reflection of Nick Saban as that defensive coordinator on a lot of championship teams at Alabama before becoming the head coach at the University of Georgia. You beat Alabama with chunk play. You beat Georgia's defense with chunk play. They want you to try and nickel and dime your way down the field. That's what they want, because they know, they feel like eventually we're going to get you. You can't do it for 10 plays. You can't do it for 12 plays. And Notre Dame is probably going to have 1 or 2 drives where they do that. But they will definitely need some chunk plays in the run game or either the passing game. Those things are foundational. Those things are weight bearing for the Notre Dame football program. And hopefully they can stand up to the weight and the test of the Georgia Bulldogs on January 1st.
Yeah, I think it's a great test. I think it tests our defense. It stresses our offense. I think this is obviously the most complete team we've played up until this point, and it's a great stepping stone. You know, are we a dynasty program? Because in a sense, we're ending a dynasty. I think Georgia got robbed last year, not getting a chance for it. So in their mind, it's still a three-peat type of season, because technically they won their last bowl game, which was Texas. So they've beaten Texas 3 times. They're like, we're really feeling like top dog.
Yeah.
And I think for them, their ego is very valid. Shit, 3-4 years of consistency, only lost total of 4 games. I mean, hey, it's pretty special. So I think for us, this is the perfect opportunity to end a dynasty to start one.
I like that. End a dynasty to start one. Couldn't have said it better myself, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Now it's time for us to hear from both head coaches, and let's start with Kirby Smart. As he met with the media, he was asked about this being the 3rd time that he's faced Notre Dame. Once at Notre Dame, and then once in between the hedges. Both games came down to the last possession. But what's different about this Notre Dame team in this 3rd matchup? This is what Kirby Smart had to say.
That's a tough one, because I don't really remember the other ones. You know, I don't remember them as a team. The games obviously stand out. Both one score, 4th quarter, really physical games. You know, the physicality I see when I watch Notre Dame play is pretty incredible on both lines of scrimmage. The way they play, the style of play they have. So, I mean, comparing those teams is hard for me because there's so many years in between. But this is a really good, solid, fundamentally sound, don't beat themselves, you know, play good defense, great defense, and really physical in the lines of scrimmage. And they got a really athletic quarterback. So there's a reason why they're at the point in the season they're at.
Sounds like he's describing his own team, Left. Physical football, run the ball, great defense, don't beat ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's looking at it from the perspective of they've never played a team like this that's been equally physical on both sides. I think his first point was
outside of his matchups with Alabama.
I mean, I don't think he views what Alabama did offensively the same as what we do offensively.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about historically.
Oh yeah, historically, yeah. But I think this is a different challenge for Kirby in the sense that he doesn't know what he's getting. Because usually going into these games, he's like, I'm either playing Alabama or a one-off team that I'm probably more physical than anyway. This is a team that's quasi-physical because we have finesse, but we also can be equally, if not greater than physically, or we tend to outlast teams, which they've, I think they've been accustomed to being that. So maybe we're more similar to them this year than years before, which I think we have slight advantages in certain areas. And I do think the quarterback in this is a big decider because you got a guy that hasn't been in the moment versus a guy that has had enough reps to be ready for it.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, super chat right here from Pilney35. Thank you for the super chat. God bless you, man. UGA will feel the love and Price will be right on January 1st. Indy's defense is the question mark. Pilney, I would disagree. If you trust this Notre Dame offense more than you trust the Notre Dame defense, that's just not being. Maybe that's your feelings. Nah, nope. I love how you feel about it. I definitely trust the Notre Dame defense going into this matchup.
Yeah, I trust the defense for sure. I don't see that being a tipping point in the game for us. I think that'll be the constant for us where they're going to keep giving us opportunities, whether it's creating turnovers or flipping the field or keeping them from just running away with the game. I think maybe they will create drives, but I don't think they'll end in points or at least 6. So as long as we keep them kicking and not scoring, that's enough opportunity for offense that's been putting up 30, 40 consistently. So it's more about how many chances do we get closer to the goal than it is just being outright best offense in the country. I don't think we need to prove we're the best offense in the country. I just think we need to take advantage of what defense gives us and then execute in moments. It's really about these moments. Like, it's going to be parts in the game that we'll look back on and be like, Riley either completed it, made a play, or pushed us forward for a first down or got a touchdown late. I mean, that's just what it's going to come to when it's such evenness with the teams. I would love to see Coach Freeman shock Kirby a little bit in some coaching decisions, whether it's going for it or taking a timeout in the right place or challenging in the right time or coming up with just a coaching method. I think if he can get Kirby on his heels, that's the biggest advantage. But if Kirby's out here outsmarting Marcus Freeman by doing stuff like sending a 12th man on the field or, freezing the kicker or knowing things, that he may have missed but are slight, these are the things that can be the difference in the game outside of the quarterback impact. And I know that Kirby's going to try to protect that as much as he can to try to get it to late in the game where he can feel like I can Georgia Tech my way through this. I'm going to call enough timeouts, freeze them. I'm going to show them a look, come out with something different. I'm like, so as long as we don't get it into that realm of the game and we keep it on the field, I think we have a great chance.
Yeah, and you look at it, this is why, I understand Notre Dame. I say it all the time. Notre Dame is going to do what they do. And I think we're going to hear from Kirby Smart give so much love to this Notre Dame run game and why it works. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is the crazy thing because people say, yeah, this Georgia defense isn't all that. Georgia's holding people to 3.8 yards per carry, 129 yards per game on the ground. That's 8th in opponent EPA per rush and 24th in defensive success rate against the run. It's not, you're not going up against a defense that just does not know how to stop the run. You're not going up against a fraudulent. I stepped out and told you that the Indiana run defense, and Kurt Signetti said it after the game. Yeah, we don't practice and we haven't faced stronger, bigger, and faster. And it showed up. That's not about to show up January 1st. You're not about to just walk on the field and be bigger, stronger, and just faster. That ain't it. That's not what's happening. That was against Indiana. This is another challenge in the run game. Another challenge. Do I think Notre Dame's still going to run the ball? Yes. Yes, I do. Do I think it's going to be as easy as it was against Indiana? No, I don't. I just don't. And that just backs up what you said, Left. You can say what you hope. It's the same thing I said about those Georgia podcasts predicting that Indiana They didn't really believe that. They didn't really believe that. That's what they were hoping for because they knew the challenge that would face them because their tune changed after the Indiana game. And it's the same thing that I forewarned Notre Dame fans. Like, yo, I understand how you're feeling. You have every right to have faith in the run game. Every right. But if you think a championship program and a championship head coach is about to allow you to line up and just run the ball 53% of the time without any impact from the passing game,
Yeah, I just don't see it.
that's not happening. No, that's not happening, man. That's not happening. This is where the value of Mike Denbrock and Al Golden shines the brightest. This is where it shines the brightest. And we just have to be honest, man. You got to be honest. Shout out to our boy Jay Lamont, always locked in with us. 4 and 24 are going to give you chunk plays. Chunk plays with them will not be enough without chunk plays. You needed a big chunk play against Indiana. You're going to need more of that. I don't care if it's Faison, Greathouse, Bo Collins, Harrison. I don't care if they bring Cam Williams and Michael Gilbert off the bench and KK Smith. I don't care who it is.
Yeah, it's not even. Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
You're going to need chunk plays in the passing game. Passing yards over 15. You're going to need big plays in this game. You're going to need big plays. Because if they sit back and just run the ball 40 times and end up beating Georgia, then I'm looking at Georgia crazy.
Questioning Georgia. Yeah, I'm questioning Georgia.
Like, I've never seen this before. Like, y'all, man, did they just roll over for Notre Dame? It definitely would be different. Joe Papiti, thank you for the super chat. I still have PTSD from my past Georgia games. Yeah, it was tough. Where we were outclassed. Please help quell my fears. Love you, LL guys, keeping it real and spinning it different. Hey, we appreciate you as well, Joe.
She's strong.
To be honest, I think Kirby Smart said it best. Left Kirby Smart was like, man, I can't even compare this team to those games. And those were tough physical games, but this is an even more physical football team that I see on film. So I think even Kirby Smart is like, man, I don't know how this is going to go. I can't. There is no equation where it equals to what those two previous games ended up being, which were close one possession games in the fourth quarter. GTB for my guy D Month, Mr. Food Lover. If Marcus Freeman wins the chip this year, which means he gets a statue, does he stand alone on that statue, or is he like Lou Holtz with two players? But two players stand with him. Well, they probably would put Riley Leonard on the statue.
Yeah, of course.
They will put Riley Leonard on the statue. Or it might be a depiction of who carries him off the field if they indeed win the national championship. The players that it might be two big offensive linemen. It might be
somebody's going to get in there.
Yeah. That's the way it plays out more than likely. All right. More from Kirby Smart left. He talked about not knowing, right? Like, man, the time off, new quarterback. What is your team going to look like? Kirby Smart talked about that.
I think we are who we are in regards to that. I mean, we've played an entire season offensively. Gunner's a good athlete. I think Carson's a good athlete. So it's one of those deals that I don't know how much that changes things.
All right, Dean Legge.
Hey, Kirby, I want to ask, this is a pretty long amount of time off for y'all. How is that making you, where are you at with this extended period of time? Is that good or bad, being off between games?
Well, last year we played in the SEC championship, and I think we played on January 1st or maybe December 31st. I think the last few years we've played in the SEC championship, we've played our next game around the same time. Am I saying that correct, Dean?
I think that's about right. Yes.
Right. So it's not, I wouldn't say it's uncommon for us. I do think it's a long time off. But I don't know that it's uncommon, right? It's really just hard to manage, hard to deal with in terms of that space and how you keep your players in shape, but in football shape and game shape. That's the bigger dilemma. Do you lose some rhythm? You watch it most times in bowl games. People that have those long breaks, it can affect how you play. And we're trying our best to manage that.
That's real honest from Kirby. That's an honest answer.
Yeah.
I think I watched Georgia's tackling to go to the big plays for Notre Dame in the run game. Watch Georgia's tackling early in this game, because that could lead to Notre Dame being able to put up some early points.
Yeah, I agree. I think that for us to be able to just meet them where they are, I think it's going to be just an interesting battle, man. I think for us to know what each other's strengths and weaknesses are, what are the outliers and the one-offs that are going to change the game, whether it's the special teams or somebody being extra aggressive or somebody playing to the clock. Because maybe Georgia says, all right, well, maybe the goal is to stay on the field offensively. Maybe put pressure on Riley to try to get points late. Because one thing we're good at is time of possession. Maybe Georgia takes it from there, looking at it like we need to get time possession. Keeps the score low. Something similar to what we did to Ohio State 2 years ago, where we tried to keep their offense off the field and make them score late, and they did, because it came down to the last 2 minutes. It came down to the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe Georgia said, okay, we'll do that to Notre Dame, but we believe, because we're a championship team, them last 2 minutes is ours. And for us, we always approach big games as a conservative. We don't want to try to boat race them and score 50 points as fast as we can. We always try to methodically keep it close to the end. I don't know why we always do that, but teams feel like, oh, you're keeping us around. Oh, okay, we're just going to activate experience mode. They're going to go from all pro to all Madden because they're like, oh, okay, you're not trying to win. It's been rare. The last time I felt like we were trying to win in quote unquote a big game was that Marcus Freeman game against Oklahoma State. We tried to score a lot of points. Every game outside of that one in really big program narrative changing type of games, we always play the keep it close, low scoring type of situations. Hell, even Georgia Tech said we got to score 50. They scored 44. So let's not let this game be a 21-17 type of game. Because we don't have to. We have proven to ourselves that we can score in the upper 40s. Let's not think, oh, big bad Georgia, we got to keep it low scoring. No. Be the dominant one in this. Stop being the underdog, the David and Goliath every time. We happen to be Goliath. That's the goal. That's the difference. We happen to be Goliath. I think they are more worried about playing us than we are them.
Well, Kirby definitely looks like, man, I got to lock in. This has to be one of my best coaching performances.
Yeah. It's like I gotta sit up in the seat. I was chilling, but I got to sit up. I got to really look at this. I'm watching tape a little longer than I usually would this week.
Yeah. Let me show you something. This is you know me. I like Kirby as a coach. I'm not here to judge him as a man. I don't know him. So I'm not about to sit up here and judge him as a man. Everyone is welcome to have their own opinion of him, but I respect him highly as a coach. And like you said, as a motivator, Left. It's a great motivator of men. but he was capping big time right here left. You talking about one of the biggest caps of all time? Man, well, I really didn't know. You didn't know what? Check it out.
Say just experience, right? Just practice. He got lots of reps prior to these practices, but he's getting much more now. I do think knowing that, when you get ready for a opponent like Notre Dame, you need time, and we haven't known who we were going to play for. I guess now 24, 48 hours we've known. And
stop lying. I had to stop it right there. Kirby, stop lying. You've been advanced scouting Notre Dame since you left the SEC championship game. You need to stop lying. You knew darn well Notre Dame's going to beat Indiana. Don't sit up here. We didn't know who we were going to play. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You knew this day was coming. You knew eventually you're going to have to pay the piper. You're going to have to take the field and face that squad. You knew that. When you saw the brackets released, you sat up in your chair and said, God dog, we got to face Notre Dame.
Yeah, there's no way he didn't. There's no way you win 2 national championships, go 40-3. And you're talking about you didn't know. Come on, bro. You watched that Ohio State IU game and knew.
He knew.
You like, oh, okay, these boys ain't.
He knew. He watched IU against Michigan. He watched IU against Michigan and knew.
And knew. He was like, all right, these boys ain't know.
If he had gone on any show and been forced to give a prediction, there's no way he would have taken Indiana. He knew. I guarantee you he told all his analysts, don't put
Get started on Notre Dame. Get started on
absolutely. Don't worry about the Indiana tape. Don't worry about that. Get started on Notre Dame. I just had to stop the video right there. Because I had to call Cap. Big time Cap. Come on. Here's Coach.
And 72 hours, and there's certainly a lot of time in prep you can do to prepare for that. We prepared for some of that prior to that because we knew it would be within 2 opponents. But I think the biggest thing is his competition at practice. The situations we put him in, all those things allow him to get better as a quarterback.
Gunnar Stockton. Does he have enough time to get ready for Notre Dame, Left? That's an honest question. Okay. From quarterback?
Because it's at the end of the day, because you haven't seen a team like Notre Dame. You haven't gotten adjusted to the speed. You don't got the feel. You haven't played a team like this. You've been a week off. Things happen fast. It's a lot to look at when you're stepping in a role. Not that you can't get prepared, but the time it takes to prepare for as much as Notre Dame's going to do, the time it takes to prepare for now Golden, it's a little different. So the uniqueness of this challenge is the time it takes to prepare. I don't think the backup knows how much it takes to get there outside of what they're doing in practice. So I do think that for them, I just really believe they're going to try to play time of possession and try to keep it close late. You're not going to outscore Notre Dame and try to offensively dominate, but you're also not going to let Notre Dame walk you up and down the field all game either with time possession. So you're selling out defensively, holding the ball offensively if I'm Georgia. Make Riley be a 300-yard passer. Secondary will allow it. That's the biggest gift. Their secondary and linebackers you can get off with the talent we have at receiver. But Riley Leonard's got to threaten them passing the football. Texas didn't threaten them enough running the football to balance the pass.
Mm-hmm.
We have to threaten them passing because we know we can run. We'll get some runs off. Riley will get a couple scampers for 10, 15 maybe. But getting in that end zone, getting in that red zone is going to require some throws down the field. And if we get close, I think Denbrock has enough calls to, put us in position. But I think they're going to be top down, say, Riley, throw this one-on-one. You're going to throw it 5-6 times a game. That's going to break our backs. But other than that, we just will refuse. We done seen Jeremiah Love throw up the hearts all game. We done seen that. Kirby done motivated us for that. We done seen 13 Mr. G. Willikers. We done played all this interview. We done heard him. We don't believe in your receivers. We don't believe in your O-line. But defensively, I think Kirby's smart enough to know, okay, I'm not going to go out here and try to Steph Curry against these boys.
Right.
Like, I haven't seen the tape yet where a team is out here saying the way to beat Notre Dame is try to get to 60 the fastest. You're going to have to punish us with the run.
Yeah.
You're going to have some receivers, and you're going to have to make some plays. But where teams go wrong is we start slowly roasting them over the fire. Where we start getting 7, 10, 14, 24, 35. And teams like, damn, we got to – it was cool when we're just playing between the ends, the hashes. But they're putting it in the end zone. Now we got to play catch-up.
Yeah.
Now we got to get out of our routine because we done kept it close for so long. Now they pulling away. Now we got to get out of our game plan. We done emptied our tank in the first 2 drives trying to get all the way down the field.
Left, you know why I know Kirby was capping? Let me see if you remember this. This was prior to the matchup when Kirby was interviewed. Let me see if you remember this clip.
Notre Dame and Indiana, we worked on both those teams, and we worked a day on each. And, I'm looking forward to this matchup because both teams are very.
The reason everybody on game day was laughing because he corrected himself because he said, "Yeah, Notre Dame and Purdue." Like he totally disrespected. This was the day of the game. They interviewed Kirby Smart. He was like, "Yeah, the matchup with Notre Dame and Purdue. I mean, Notre Dame and Indiana. That lets me know you hadn't watched a bit of Indiana film. Not one bit. You forgot they were even in the game. You totally forgot they were in the game." Sean Paul, you put it in the chat. I had to mess around and find it. But like you said, Love. It's different, man. But both teams are facing a different beast of sorts in this matchup. To keep it a buck, both teams are facing something different that they haven't seen before this year. That's just the truth.
Yeah, we're facing a team that's a 4-quarter team that can stress test our offense and put Riley Leonard on center stage. That can hinder our run game, not stop it. But running alone won't be enough. And defensively, how can we not get outsmarted in situational football? How can we stay consistent making tackles in the open field? How can we show that mentality of outlasting a champion when we haven't been one yet? I think there's unknowns that we're going into this game and we'll see in the first couple snaps how we're coming out.
Yeah.
Georgia, on the other hand, is like, we're dealing with a monster. We haven't faced somebody that's going to punch us in this way for the marbles. They're not going to be frightened by the moment in the sense of, we're big bad Georgia and this is Ole Miss, or this is, a team that isn't slighted to win. I think in that Georgia game, Georgia was slighted to win against Texas, wasn't he?
The second matchup, definitely not the first matchup. Let me go back and look at that line. The second matchup. But go ahead. You can continue to talk, Love.
So I do think that it's going to be one to remember. I think if any time Notre Dame football to be in a position to do something like this is around now, and you got great coaches, you got great teams and great programs matching up once again. There's a neutral site. It's not like we're playing there, they're playing in South Bend. So that's, a good for even matchup. And then it's just going to become who's going to make the plays when necessary. And we got the people that can do it, but they have to go do it when it counts.
2.5 favorites, 2.5 point favorites. Texas was going into the SEC championship game. 2.5 point favorites.
Well, Texas hasn't been consistently good long enough, in my opinion, to win in these games.
Yeah, I mean, Sark is trying to get over that his own hump and hurdle for his program.
Right.
So the ND run game. Hey, this is the focal point, right? We told you about 3.8 yards per rush, 128 yards per game given up by this Georgia defense. I didn't buy into that Army rush defense. I don't care what the stats said. I didn't really buy into the Indiana rush defense.
No.
Regardless of what the stats said.
I believe
Georgia's, they have a lot more credibility. Stopping the run. And Kirby Smart talked about the difficulty of Notre Dame's run game.
They have unbelievable backs. First off, who you hand it to does matter. Those guys are tremendously talented and do a great job. I mean, use all of them too. And then when you throw the skill set of Riley in there, the quarterback, it just makes it that much tougher to defend because they have multiple weapons, multiple options, and they're really physical. I mean, they're committed to it. They're not like they're very committed to the run.
See, that's the part I love. He can speak to it because he knows what it looks like. Game recognizes game. He said they don't just run the ball, they're committed to the run. That's the mentality. Being committed to the run, that's a mentality. That means we run it when we're going to run it and we still believe we can run it. That is about to be tested. Because Notre Dame has been able to do that. Teams knowing they're going to run the ball, teams knowing they want to run the ball. And Notre Dame still saying, we're going to do it. Make us stop. And so that's a great amount of respect coming from someone that has won national championships doing exactly that. Running the ball, being physical, and playing great defense. So Kirby Smart is very well aware of the challenge facing his defense, right? Because it's easy for them to deter Texas away from running the ball. Sark would just go away from the run.
Yeah.
He did it in the first matchup. He did it in the second matchup. Riley's not about to drop back and throw the ball 45 times.
No.
That's not happening. You can stop the first run. You can stop the second run. Come on back. Because we're about to keep running this ball. Stop it for 60 minutes. Stop it for 4 quarters. That's going to be the challenge. That's going to be the challenge. And I would say, who said it in the chat? Justin, here it is. Justin Indy's troll sniper. Our O-line versus the Georgia D-line is the biggest matchup in the game. I would agree, but not from the standpoint of the run game, Left. You can go ahead and chime in. I'm not worried about running the ball against that Georgia defense because you can have success. They give up 128. So that's a starting point. Notre Dame can get up to 150, 170. I believe that. Will they get 200? We'll see. It's going to take some chunk runs to get up to 200. But for me, handling people, man, they collapse the pocket with their linebackers and their Vipers. The 4 or 5 that they have, I'm worried more about protecting the passer when we decide to pass.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where the genius from Mike Denbrock is going to have to come. Can we keep Georgia
Off
from getting
balance.
into these automatic pass sets where they can pin their ears knowing Riley has to throw the football? Can we mix enough a screen with which Texas try to do a lot, throw a bunch of screens and dump offs and keep Georgia from just locking in on how we're calling the game. And for Denbrock, we know that he's stubborn. So if we get a couple runs, he's going to keep with it in that same drive until they stop it and go to something else. So how can he stay versatile matched up against a team that may not give it the openness that we've been able to get all season?
And honestly, Kirby Smart told you at the beginning of that clip, what makes that running game so good? The dudes they hand it off to. Hey, that matters. Kirby told you, the dudes you hand it off to matters. And they got 3 good ones. 3 really good ones. Michael Parks is not just Walker. You got to block Walker. You got to block Williams. You got to block C.J. Allen when he's coming on that 8-gap blitz. They get at you. They get at you multiple ways. They get after it.
Yeah, and I think, we haven't fallen short on having successful drives that end in touchdowns. Whereas teams have driven on Georgia but can't finish, and that's given Georgia a boost to stay in games and come back, and their defenses gain momentum where they stop drives consecutively. So offensively, if we do get stopped on drives consecutively, how does Riley? It's all about things we haven't faced under this quarterback. Have we faced playing from behind double digits? Have we faced drives where we haven't been able to score for 2 quarters? Have we been in these situations before? Have we been in situations where we've had to rally behind 3 picks thrown by Riley potentially? Do we have a SMU situation where the quarterback just completely fumbles the entire game? Do we have something where Riley's got to go win and score before half or score at the end of the game? A lot of situations we haven't been in. This has been a very blessed situation for this Notre Dame football team as a whole, outside of the quarterback position, where we haven't been tested. We were surprised week 2 with NIU, but that became a lesson learned.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't anticipated a test where like, oh, we have to study not just the night before. Gearing up for Army, Navy, that's a different type of preparation. But this is like, okay, this is a monster of a test. This is the MCAT. This is that pedigree test. Did we get through the fire to get this championship, or did we skate by easy?
Yeah.
In the eyes of what people look at as, was it worth it? Was it a bubble championship, or was it a real thing? I like to think it was the same thing. You like to say it was. You like to hate and say it wasn't no real championship, but a win is a win. So I do think that we'll face situations that we haven't seen all season, and how does the quarterback lead through them? And that's why I say the money is going to be put on the table. This game, this is where you earn all of that credit and adulation you were getting through the season on a softball, T-ball type of schedule. It was just what it is. We don't believe you. That's what I'm over on the fence saying. We don't believe you.
Yeah.
I believe after this one, but all that stuff is like, man, I know I could have did that. But this is something that, I'm excited to see. I think for Marcus Freeman, this is where he earns his statue outside of winning championship.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, okay, what real win did Marcus Freeman get? Sure, you can count Texas A&M. Sure, you can count some of these ranked teams, quote unquote, that we played. But what's that marquee Marcus Freeman win? What's the marquee Marcus Freeman win right now? We grade Marcus Freeman on stacking a bunch of wins, but we can't point to the Marcus Freeman game where like, oh man, That's you think of the beating Georgia, you think of Marcus Freeman when he did that. What game do we think of Marcus Freeman as, oh, that's the game of his coaching career at Notre Dame? For Brian Kelly, you can point to the championship game in 2012. You can point to the Stanford win on the goal line. You can point to moments in Kelly's career where you're like, okay, he had program and narrative and coaching legendary type of situation. What has Marcus Freeman had so far? Because you're just going to turn the analytic Joe on me and say, oh, he's got 11-3 and top 25 wins. But which one was the one? Don't be the LeBron when you got the crazy numbers and it's like, wow. But tell me which one game was the one. Right now, Marcus Freeman does not have a program perspective changing win. He doesn't. I'm not giving you Texas A&M. I'm not giving you USC with a Heisman winner. I'm not giving you that. I need this one because I can think of the ones that could have been your Ohio State game, Oklahoma State, your first game. I can even think of negative ones that they try to put against you. The Stanford game, the Marshall game. But which one is the Marcus Freeman game? This is the one you put at the top of the resume on teams beaten. You know how you put your highlight tape, your best plays in the first couple plays? This is the first couple wins. Forget all them other wins. This is the one. I beat Kirby when it mattered. With a great team, not no asterisk. It's full strength. They had a week to prepare before. Then you tell me the Texas A&Ms and the Louisvilles and the Dukes. Then you tell me all of them. But tell me Georgia first. That's where you get your statue.
I saw this. I wanted to make sure. Coffees for closers. Thank you for tapping in as always. It says Texas ran for over 200 and still lost twice. Indy needs points, awesome turnovers, and be on point with pass. Points on turnovers, winning the turnover battle, always. Passing the ball, absolutely. In the two matchups this year, because Texas didn't, in two games, Texas never even got close to 200 rushing yards. In two games, Texas totaled 49 rushes for 122 yards in both games against Georgia. That's 2.5 yards per carry. I just want to point that out. When I saw that, I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. I had to go double check it. In two games, the game down in Texas in the SEC championship, the running backs. Now it's worse. That gets worse. It gets worse if I count the sacks. The yards per carry is worse. It's just running backs. 49 carries, 122 yards for 2.5 yards per game. But see, that's very easy against Texas because Sark and the way
he's not committed.
He's not committed to the run.
Tight ends and
there you go.
Shifting and trading motion and heavy sets and quarterback powers. He's not doing that. He may throw it in there to be like, oh, it's short yardage. But he's not trying to do that. He's trying to keep you unbalanced and do all that cute stuff and throw it out. And Notre Dame's going to be like, all right, how many you got in that box? All right, just add two more tight ends. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. It's like, you know how you have a great illusionist and their conversation is the illusion, right? Their conversation and presentation keeps your eyes away from what you really need to be watching. And that is the run game from Texas. It's their illusion. It's their way to get you looking over here when they really want to
so oh, you got a light box? Okay, now we're double pull or whatever. You worried about us throwing out to these fast guys. Now we can get you the super light box with two high safeties. So that's why I said Georgia's not going to do nothing crazy. They're going to be like, oh, Riley Leonard, all right, beat us with your arm. Force us. We'll play off. We'll play one high. We're going to put 10 in the box and hit you. And Riley, this is not the game to be like, I'm Forrest Gump. Let me run around and outrun guys. You're not outrunning them. It's just not going to happen. You're going to take deep sacks, running away from guys that you can't run away from. Throw the ball away, be smart, make plays.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. Go forward, right? This is the go forward game. Don't run backwards. Go forward.
Yes, stay as close to the line of scrimmage as possible.
If it's a 1 and 2 yard gains are good this game. Like,
because you're big. It's not like you're elusive. So they hit big stuff. The elusive stuff, okay, you run around a little bit, but you're not outrunning like speed for speed these guys. So, and if you do, you're getting 2 or 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and you're getting hit by 3 or 4. So I just think that the smartest thing for Riley to do is think less with his feet and more with his head. This is a game about wits, not a game about necessarily strong arming the other team. Yeah, 4th and 1, we need you to put your shoulder down. I get that. That's the benefit of Riley Leonard. I don't need you to jump.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to jump, but I need you to put your shoulder down. But 1st and 10, and you get a passing concept, I need you to complete it. That's what he has to be able to do. If we can start fast on 1st down and not play behind the sticks because we're trying to chop it piece by piece, we're going to be all right. I think if Riley feels like he can depend on guys around him and he doesn't look up at the press, look over at the sideline and see Denbrock calling his number every play. If Denbrock's not calling his number every play, I think we got a chance. Because Denbrock, what's the point?
Yeah. Lucky Lefty podcast. Now, let's go to the Notre Dame side and Marcus Freeman. And, this is his first experience of the playoff in a tournament format. And Coach talked about that, his first experience.
This is a first for me. And really anybody in college football, as you talk about a 12-team playoff, you almost prepared for this first round like it was maybe even a bowl game-ish type opportunity. But then you realize once the game was over, you got to go back to preparation. And that's probably what I've noticed more than anything. It's, during the season, you have the next one. But in the playoffs, you got to prepare in a way that gives your program the best opportunity to win, put everything on the table. And then if you're able to get the outcome you want, you got to go right back to preparation. And so it's been unique. You're grateful to be a part of this thing. To be a part of the last 8 teams in the college football playoff, you're grateful. And it speaks volumes about this football program, about our players, the coaching staff, and everybody involved, the work they've put in. And so continue to do that. Everybody knows it's a big game coming up, but the approach, the preparation must continue to have some consistency in what we've done. But then there's got to be a little bit of elevation. As I always say, every single week, we got to do it a little bit better.
I love that at the end. Because I felt like it was coach speak, right? But then you get to the end, it's like, hey, but we know this is different. Scott, we got to have some elevation. We can't play the way we played against Indiana. We're going to have to take it to the next level. Okay, coach. I see you. I hear you. I'm all in. I'm going to go ahead and put my chips in the middle of the table. That's what's up. I love hearing that from Marcus Freeman. Love.
Yeah, I think Marcus Freeman understands. Shit.
Boy, this is not like you sound like you're in a Super Mario go-kart.
Crazy, I know. It's got the grass, man. But yeah, Marcus Freeman not no fool now. He looking at this like this is my chance, my moment to put my team in the best position to move this program forward. And this is
trying to dodge the lawnmower. out there in LA, Lucky Lefty podcast. But no, it's different. I'm look, man. I like hearing this, man. Let them know. Let them know. This, hey, this is a different beast that you're gonna face. This is a different beast that you're going to face. It's a different beast. I need everybody to take. Yeah, we lost Riley. We're down somebody. I still need you to take. That's even more reason. Defense. That's even more reason why I need you to take it to the next level. Even more reason. Offensive line. Facing some dudes on the other side. Great game against Indiana. We need to take it to that next level, though. Take it to that next level. Riley Leonard. Efficient against Indiana. We need that interception to disappear. We need a couple of missed throws to disappear. Keep taking those chuck downs. Don't take sacks. Like Left said, we don't need you going in reverse. It's forward or nothing.
Yeah.
Throw it away, throw the check down, keep the
Take
chains
loss of
moving.
one, fall down, shit.
Man, absolutely. Absolutely. So, love it. Love hearing that from Marcus Freeman. And Marcus Freeman went on to talk about Left, his defensive tackles, the loss of Riley Mills. Who's going to step up, Left?
In a week, they've been preparing every single day, all season long, and that's why every rep you do in practice matters and is evaluated, because you don't know when that rep is going to be thrust against Georgia, right? And so you have to prepare in a way in practice that you're, one, improving, but two, you're ready if your number's called. And we got a lot of guys that prepare that way and that will have a bigger role. But obviously, you know, Donnie's played at a high level. Gabe Rubio's playing at a high level, and Howard's obviously back. So we'll get whoever that fourth and fifth guy ready to roll. But they've been preparing for this moment all season. It's not something that you just do right now.
Okay, Coach.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, I would like to see the impact of the D-line responding to Riley Mills not being in there. And I think their get-off is going to tell the story. I mean, obviously, Georgia's a big team physically, and I think for our linebackers, it's going to be a lot of just plugging in the holes, but it's going to be alleviated through the help of the D-line. So we're going to have to see and watch.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Super excited, man, to see how these D tackles step up. I really am. I really expect this defense to rally around. I saw a quote from Howard Cross. The players spoke today. Their press conference was today, their first press conference. I think they had one the day before the game. But Howard Cross talked about it. Like, yo, yeah, we're going to miss him. We're definitely going to miss him. But we move forward. We're trying to run the table. I like that. I like that type of talk. Like, we're still trying, doesn't change a thing. We're still trying to run this table. That's what it's all about. We're trying to run this table. Let's go do it. I love what Marcus Freeman said. Love hearing that from Howard Cross today. And I really feel like this team, man, is really prepared to go ahead and seize the moment on January 1st as they take on the Georgia Bulldogs. Despite everything, you have to just keep going, man. You lose people get injured. Hey, you have to keep going.
Same way you do it after you lose in Northern Illinois, right? You find out the most about your team and yourself as an individual in tough times, in the lowest moments, right? And what I learned about this program in its lowest moments is that they're resilient, they're tough, they continue to battle, and they choose to find ways to elevate. And that's what's going to happen now, right? Is that you lose a captain, and it's tough. It's a terrible loss. But this program knows what it has to do to continue to prepare and perform at a high level. And that's what you got to do. You got to, don't feel sorry for yourself. I feel sorry for Riley Mills because I love that guy. And, you know, he's just a great person, a great player. but you don't feel sorry for yourself. You own it and you say, okay, how do we find ways to improve? And that's what we're going to do.
Man, you gotta find ways to improve. You have to. You have to. But Al Golden's going to figure that out. He's going to figure that out. He's absolutely going to figure that out. Marcus Freeman then was asked about the portal. And it was interesting because he really just kind of contrasted what Kirby said when he was asked about the portal, because I'll play Kirby's clip when we talk about NIL impacting the portal in our last segment. But not only that, the portal is interesting, right? Because there are so many shifts, programs. Kenny Dillingham was allowing his guys to stay with the team even after they got, put their names in the portal and committed to other places. Kirby's had some defections, but Kirby's like, yo, I'm in between. I leave it up to the guys whether or not they want to stay. Marcus Freeman was like, yo, it was really gangster the way he said it. He was like, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anybody from my team that wants to be in the portal or plans to be in the portal. So,
I think it's the portal. I think now it's becoming more normalized that's not an automatic option for guys. Hell, there's 7,000 kids in the portal and 4,500 for the FCS and JUCO portal. And
you're almost playing yourself though, Left. That portal can be a send-off, bro. You can send yourself off real. Man, case in point, Holden Stays. Holden Stays, who's back in the portal after leaving and going to Tennessee. The reason it's a send-off, Left, because you let these coaches lie to you and promise you. I don't even talk about the money. Oh, yeah, we're going to Notre Dame and throw you the ball. We're going to throw you the ball. What made you think that an offense at Tennessee would feature the tight end? Show me. Show me a Josh Heupel offense that has featured the tight end. I'll wait. Come on, man. Holden Stays played himself. He should have been right here in Notre Dame in the playoffs, getting ready to face Georgia. That's where he should have been. But now, because he believed what they sold, and now they didn't do it. First of all, you were breaking in. Think, man. They're breaking in a true freshman quarterback. You knew that. The passing game is not about to be elevated with him. He's not about to get through progressions to really get to the tight end. You went to a team that basically did the same thing with Dylan Sampson, which is just run the ball and every down there and take a shot. Play it yourself. That left people out here playing themselves, man. And it's hard, man. Now you're in the portal again, leaving Tennessee.
Well, there's not enough proper guidance for guys to weigh their options. When leaving the portal is usually an emotional decision at the time. And, there's a lot of lying without having to back anything up. Hell, the lack of needing proof of any of these transactions or promises or guarantees is, you gotta be wise in your counsel when you're going about this. And unfortunately, football is still young in the perspective of it's open. Like, I was lucky that I had some connections and feelers out there when I was thinking about the transfer portal. But now I feel like I got in before it got crazy. I wouldn't know how, it would be approached or adjusted to. Now, coming from Notre Dame, land of the stepping stone, I knew I was going to have a good shot. But, the number game is almost worse than getting in from high school.
Coach Freeman, Gunnar Stockton, new starter. What are your thoughts about the young man?
Yeah, you evaluate. obviously schematically what they've done all season. And then you have a separate tape of what Stockton, the new quarterback, has done. I think we have 80-something plays of him playing quarterback. He can run their offense. He does some things a little bit differently. He's got, he can extend plays with his legs. He's a good athlete. The thing I probably noticed more than anything in watching those 80 plays is he's an ultra competitive individual. You can just tell, by the way he celebrates, by the way, he goes and finishes plays. He's a competitor. I don't see it being tremendously different than what they've done all season, but we'll prepare for anything.
Coach, limited game. It's not too much to prepare for. He can only go right. That's a basketball analogy, Left. Facing the quarterback. Heavy right hand. Can't go left. Make him go left. That's it. Look out for the quarterback draws, the play action. Arm is not big. Hey, there's not too much there. And SHAUN, he's dangerous with the ball. Almost gave the game away with a crazy interception. I have no idea where he was throwing the ball. Almost let Texas back in that game. So, yeah, man.
Georgia at a severe disadvantage with this quarterback situation regarding the fact that this is championship football and their quarterback is not a championship quarterback at this moment. So,
yeah.
Or with Stetson Bennett, you can make things happen. He's been there, done that, and can balance what you're doing. What's Georgia's balance? You don't have great receivers because they hurt or transferred or got kicked off the team. Your quarterback is not like he's dealing with a Marvin Harrison Jr. or an Ibuka. It's not like he's, even a top 5 quarterback in the country right now. Mm-hmm. So these are things that you can't avoid. It's just a matter of how does Notre Dame not play like they have unlimited Avengers on their team. Yeah. We just can't play as if they're the boogeyman on paper, not in real life.
Lucky Lefty podcast. When we come back, Left, let's get into this NIL. And Fran Brown has some interesting comments ahead of his bowl matchup concerning everything surrounding NIL, the portal, and so much more. We'll hear from that, and we'll tie a nice little bow on today's show. Thank you for joining us. GTV questions, put them in before we get done. Super chats, if you haven't, put them in. Lucky Lefty podcast. We spin it different.
What's up, family? The merch shop is finally here. Lucky Lefty Network merch shop. We got it all. From the shirts to the hoodies to the hats to the nitty gritties. Come here right now. Shop with us. Come get the swag because if anything else, we spin it different. You see the gritty. You see how we get down. It's elite.
Lucky Lefty podcast. ONORA boys in the building. Malik, ZAIRE, SHAUN Davis. ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. Lock in. TikTok, X, Twitter, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Subscribe to our YouTube, Lucky Lefty Network. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments and questions. We respond to all. Patreon.com, Lucky Legends Podcast. And also, Players Only Podcast. Go subscribe. Become a patron today. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CFB Nation, Audio Edibles, each and every day. Home of the Misguided Passion. Forever committed to making sure that we spin it
different.
Left, man, let me tell you something, bro. So, my 2-year-old niece, this was the best of the best. So basically when she left, her and her father left to go see his other side of the family. We looked at the house, and the house was a wreck. Her toys were everywhere. And we're just laughing, man, because we're like, yo, this little girl runs everything. She literally runs everything. And if she can't get what she can't get what she wants from one person, she goes and finds the next person.
It's a bad cycle.
Oh man, she's so smooth with it. Finesse queen. So she asked my sister to take her upstairs, and my sister says, no, you can't go upstairs. And she likes going upstairs because she knows that's where the games are, like the video games. They're upstairs. And so she sits on the second stair, and she asks my sister to sit down. She says, sit down. And so my sister sits next to her. And then she scoots up a step and says, sit down. And so my sister scoots up and sits down. She scoots up another step and says, sit down. And so it took my sister like 4 or 5 stairs to realize she is finessing me into going up the stairs. Like she basically was like, oh, you're not going to walk me up the stairs?
I'm gonna walk you through this, walking me.
Yes. And I'm like, yo, this is insane. Man, I'm sorry, bro. The kids that come into this world now, bro, they're built a little different. They're built just a little bit different, bro.
Yeah. Did you spoil your daughter? I mean, being a dad, I feel like that kind of came natural.
Did I spoil her? I don't know. Some people probably would say yes.
Your wife will probably say yes.
Oh, mom, dude, bro, you're so lucky. You're so lucky, man. If you and Raven are blessed to have a beautiful baby girl, bro, just know. And maybe my wife is she's so bad. I've never. My wife literally gets jealous of my daughter, dude.
Oh yeah, I can't even joke with Raven about it because she's like, why would you get her something over me?
Dude, she's saying it already. Oh, left. It's gonna be bad when she actually gets here. Then that's just a foreshadowing. If you're already having the conversation, my wife, bro.
How do you handle it? I mean, it's like I feel like nothing you can.
This man. So I will call my daughter, and my daughter would say, "Hold on, daddy," and she would get off the phone, and then we'll be talking, and my wife will walk in the door and say, "Who are you talking to?" I'm like, "I'm talking to baby girl," and she's like, "She got off the phone with me to talk to you," and I'm like, "How was I supposed to know she was talking? I didn't know she was talking to you. I didn't ask her to get off the phone to talk to."
She's like, how dare you get off the phone with me and talk to her?
I'm like, dude, I am her dad. I mean, man, I do hold some weight in this family structure. But no, man, that dynamic is crazy. But yes, I would say most people would probably say spoiled or well taken care of. My mom said
I like that, well taken care of.
That's my mom said that's the correct term. She's well taken care of. So yeah, she pulls on my heartstring. If that's what you want to know. If that's what you want to know, she's man, she finessed me. We went shopping for other people after church on Sunday, and my daughter straight finessed me out of 2 big ticket items.
You didn't even know.
Nah, I would be lying if I said I didn't know. I knew and I didn't care. I knew and I didn't care, Left. I didn't. And you know what my wife did? She let my daughter open the door and she walked right through it. Because then she started picking stuff up. Oh man, this is nice. I'm like, really? That's what we're doing that? Can I add this to the pile? Go ahead. Yeah, that mother-daughter dynamic is, man, it's a tug of war.
It's a tug of war.
That you would never think would exist. But
You're like, why are we not coexisting here?
Yes. Why are you counting her gifts? Why are you counting the number?
Don't you not count the gifts?
Why are you counting the number of boxes? Bruh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. And now my daughter, as she gets older, she's very aware, much more aware of it.
Yeah, like she's probably much more aware of it.
Now my daughter does things to just like tease her mother. Like we'll be watching movies and my daughter would literally just come and sit in my recliner. She'll just sit on my leg in my recliner and just hug my neck. And my wife would just be looking at her like, and she's doing it on purpose. It's so funny.
You're just eating it up. You're just eating it up, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I just sit there and let them do their thing. I have nothing to do with it. Super chat. Jay Lamont, we appreciate you. What's your final score? We're going to save that to next week. We're going to save that into next week. Yeah, we're going to save that into next week.
Gotta hear some more post-game press conferences and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because I might predict double digits. I have a path to a double-digit win left.
Uh-oh.
I do. I see it. I see a path for a double-digit win. Shout out to Ryan Clark holding it down on First Take this morning as well. Talking that talk.
Neapolitan suit. Did he have a suit on?
Come on, man. You wild.
You talk about Shannon. Ryan Clark's colors is crazy.
You wild. Yeah, that's true. But at least Ryan's fits. At least his tailor knows what he's doing. But no, Cam Newton was on there talking crazy, talking about Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be in the Final Eight. He talked same talk. And so Ryan Clark read him really good. And Ryan Clark said, you know what? You going to be here next Friday? Cam was like, yeah, I'll be here next Friday. He said, yeah, I'll see you next Friday. I was like, talk that talk. Talk that talk, RC. Talk that talk. Talk it. Patriots Drew, thank you for the super chat. Steve commented on these portal receivers like he is the guy. Receivers were needed, but who's throwing the rock in 25? Carr or Mitch? Left, I'll let you take that one.
I don't know, man. I mean, shoot. If we win a championship this way, I just feel like Marcus Freeman is going to just continue to do what he feels is like best for the team in this year. Mm-hmm. And I do wish he would just rely on who he's bringing in recruiting. But there's an all-star player that can fit right now. I think that's kind of where coaching is. You got to fit half of where college football is right now mixed with what you're developing in the program. I'd love to see Minchie be out there, considering went through the process and earned his share of opportunities, and with Carr getting healthy and following it up. But you know, these guys have to go in and take it. And Marcus Freeman wants that, but he's also keeping it open, you know, considering you can throw a little money around. But if we win a championship, I just feel like the door is wide open. You're gonna get people wanting to come, and it's an open market, man. It's not the same recruiting like out of high school anymore.
What's the biggest difference? I was about to say, what's the biggest difference for you, Left?
We just got 3 portal receivers. So I'm just thinking of my time at Notre Dame, developing with Will, developing with Chris Brown and Corey Robinson and Torrey Hunter Jr. and the guys that came in the class, Kevin Stepherson, you know, stuff like that. And now you're getting every year a 3 or 4 crop of new guys from all different places. So trying to get that chemistry in a short amount of time is interesting. It's because you got to really get to know them and Just see how they practice with this whole shipping guys in for a year thing. It just adds a different dynamic. Like guys you've been building chemistry with, and then you add guys that are coming from every school possible. So it makes it a tougher challenge, but I think development of guys is what's key.
So, Fran Brown, head coach, former defensive coach for the Georgia Bulldogs, major reason why the defensive secondary has taken a step back in pass coverage. In my opinion, Fran Brown is a terrific coach, terrific recruiter, terrific developer. I would put him and Mike Miggins were definitely one of the top 5 defensive back coaches in all of college football. He goes to Syracuse, the Syracuse program. They have a really good season. And he was asked about the Portland NIL, and he had some very, very interesting comments. Take a listen, Lefty.
You have good NIL plan. You're consistent. You continuously, like he stated, love the players, understand, and they know that you love them. I don't think you'll have too many worries. There'll be places that are going to offer a whole bunch of money, but I think that there's a lot of kids who are looking for relationships, and the relationships mean more because long term they'll make more, right? You may have a kid that has an opportunity of going to make $200,000 more once you're able to explain to him that in 3 or 4 years that 200 won't mean as much as your signing bonus will be. That 200 won't mean as much as the relationship you'll have, and you already knowing and understanding that you'll have a job. That 200 won't mean as much as that S getting a degree from Syracuse, which is what you're going to college to really do. And then with the game, I mean, we just want to play football. I wish we played today. I want to play the game. I'm excited about the game. Practice is everything to me. So, I mean, if you've been watching and just seeing, we love practice. But I think this right now, the NIL state and the transfer portal, I'm comfortable with it. Whatever comes, we're going to adapt to it. But it just gives our administration, the coaching staff, the alum, the board of trustees, it gives everyone an opportunity to be on one team and to do what's best for the university so we can move on and not just have to play in this game, which is an amazing bowl game, but I want to play next Wednesday, my goal was to be playing Wednesday, and we fell a little bit short of that. So we're truly thankful that we got to be in such a prestigious bowl. I want to play next Wednesday, and to be able to do that, we have to adapt and be able to compete in the NIL era to keep guys out of the portal, so they never want to be there with us.
The interesting thing is, I love Fran Brown and everything he said. He's talking about keeping cats on your squad. He's not even talking about NIL in the form of recruiting, in the form of bringing somebody in. He's talking about maintaining the roster. Hey, you have to keep your guys. And you have to have honest conversations, not about the depth chart, not about opportunity to play. Re-up, re-sign, stay committed. And he lays it out well. And coming from Syracuse, which is an incredible degree. Syracuse is one of those programs, that degree holds weight. That Notre Dame degree holds weight.
Yeah, but I also it's more important Fran Brown to push re-upping on these deals because guys in that locker room know Notre Dame calls. That's Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Marcus Freeman has the luxury of saying, I ain't worried about guys leaving because they know that where else can you go other than an individualistic opportunity for yourself? But in terms of team, I'm going to be Gucci here because I know I can get guys to win games here. You leaving here, you're going somewhere for yourself. Whereas Fran Brown is like, I'm trying to keep guys I can leave here to go somewhere better than this program. Not that I'm not doing a good job, but shit. Syracuse versus Notre Dame, Syracuse versus Alabama, Syracuse versus one of these prominent programs, I'm not going to come out on top more times than not. Mm-hmm. If it's need to push, yeah, if I keep a kid here for $200,000 for 4 years or 3 years, perfect. At least I know that I can take care and maintain somewhat of a roster. I'm not going to keep everybody, but the guys on the roster can respect the fact that this is a place where you want to be too.
Now, on the flip side, Coach Eli Drakowitz had a similar conversation, and I just found it very interesting that he got into it as deep as he did from a portal transfer, roster building, how things are different. But even as things adapt, I think the adaptation for Notre Dame is going to be totally different than the rest of college football because it's a different situation. This is what Eli Drinkowitz, head coach of Missouri, had to say.
He has to get rid of that mindset and understand that we're a 6-month free agent business, and every 6 months free agency, and you do the very best you can to build the roster you can with that kind of mindset, or with that kind of thinking. But that old style of thinking of, hey, I'm going to have 85 scholarships and I'm going to recruit four deep at each position, and once this guy leaves, then the next guy comes. That's not really realistic anymore. Our job is to build the best team that we can, so that when we start spring practice in April, we have the best or March, we have the best team possible, knowing that in April there's another free agency period and your team could look drastically different. So, I would just caution everybody, including Mizzou Twitter, that it's really going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We value production over potential. And, that's going to be a key driving force for us in the decisions we make with player acquisition and player development. So, it is what it is.
Lef, how you feel about that, man? 6 months free agency every 6 months?
Yeah, I think, like I said, for teams that need to maintain that, integrity through NIL, money means a little bit more than the traditional programs that I just think will always have that effect in regards to a football program. So, some things, like for instance, some schools can offer more money than Notre Dame will. That's just what it is. However, Notre Dame offers things that other schools just can't compete with Notre Dame in. One of which could be, obviously, the number one in parents. I think if you're just taking everything from a plain view, parents are a huge factor in kids' decisions. And for Notre Dame to just ace that test every time, I think it's important.
Yeah, I think that test is something that plays into a comfort level that Marcus Freeman has shown, talking about the portal and how his concerns right now are truly focused on his football team. And Kirby Smart, he was asked about it, and this is what he had to say about the portal.
Yeah, it's becoming the new norm. That December is absolutely just tough. I don't know a good way of saying it. I wouldn't say it's unbearable. I wouldn't say that it's it's unfair. I use a lot of words you can use for it. It's just it's not probably the best thing for the college football game. Individually, you can make a case. It's good for some players. It's good for some teams. It's good for some coaches. But the calendar's really challenging. And if we had the solutions, I think somebody wise, somebody smart would fix it. But when you intertwine all the working parts of academics and being a student athlete and the timing of the playoff, timing of the portal, timing of signing days, it's incredibly challenging. And it's been that way this month.
Man, cry me a river, bro. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Not from him.
Not from him.
Not from him. I don't want to hear that. You are located in the breadbasket of athletes of all shapes and sizes and all combinations of speed, power, quickness. You're right smack dab in the recruiting haven that is Georgia and Florida and the Carolinas. Right there. I don't want to hear nothing about dude. Stop. Just because your roster isn't as thick and now you have to actually work to maintain your players. It you want it to go back to the way it was, where you could just dominate and stack. No, now that the rabbit has the gun, it's not fun. No, work. Work, Kirby, work. That's it. Just work. Man, that type of stuff, man.
Yeah, everybody wants somebody to feel a little sorry for him. So I think that just plays into who he is as a motivator. He wants to start watering the plant in the media of just in case something goes down, I can have this as my alibi. Oh, recruiting just changed. It's harder if I don't get the number one recruiting class after 4 years in a row of doing it, right? So, yeah, I think that Kirby, once again, I think coaching matters a lot in college football, and that's going to attract premium players itself, i.e. a Mike Mickens, in a world where NIL is influential for top players. Mike Mickens still gets top players and develops guys with talent at a place where money isn't as affluent. But when you can produce a Kyle Hamilton, a Cam Hart, a Ben Morrison, a Xavier Watts, that's currency in itself. It's like social currency. So, I think from a program standpoint, Notre Dame is on the rise because we're able to show I don't think Marcus Freeman has ever gone to the podium and complained about not being able to recruit due to raising money. And I think a lot of that is when he signed that dotted line, he probably can't even talk about it. Then again, he's like, talk about it for what? Y'all know. When money starts flying around some of these bigger recruits, just all I can do is get them here for a visit.
At the end of the day, like Eli Drinkowitz said, it is what it is. Things have changed. Who are you whining about? You're still positioned better than just about 95% of the programs. From a recruiting standpoint, SEC, y'all been dirty for a long time, passing envelopes to players anyway.
Yeah, you don't hear him talking about no money issues now. You didn't hear Kirby talking about no issues. You didn't say nothing about we need to raise the cap. You didn't hear nothing about we need more funding. You didn't hear nothing about a player costs X amount of dollars. You're not talking about none of that because you lead the country in that problem. Your financial status with recruiting and NIL fits your recruiting prerogative. So when you go up there and complain about anything, most of these coaches are complaining about we got to get more. We got to pay this. You have yet to speak on anything regarding paying somebody or not being able to get somebody to Georgia. Everything you're complaining about is that kids leave and it's tough and it sucks that they leave and woe is me. He didn't talk about, I had to spend an extra $5 million to keep a DN. I need some more support from alumni. No.
Nope. Now one word. One word.
This kid needs this to secure him, and he's a 5-star. That wire will go through, Kirby. You got this. You got the status for that. I believe that if Kirby made a call after winning 2 championships, losing 4 games in 4 years, having a whole NFL defense basically come from a defense you coached, that you could make a call to get a player if it came to money. I think you would win most money battles between recruiting players. If the player was worth it, if you said, I need him, he needs X dollar amount, whether you got to call Quavo or one of these alumni, it'll get done. We just heard Missouri's coach talk about,
Summer Walker and her boyfriend posted pictures wearing Georgia pajamas yesterday.
So he got funding from all sorts of places.
All sorts of places, bro.
We just heard Missouri's coach basically be like, "Well, woe is me. Shoot, if we got to have some money to keep some of these guys. I don't know what my roster gonna look like in 6 months." Kirby ain't talking nothing about that. Kirby's like, "Man, some guys want to leave to get, and that's hurts my feelings." But you don't have a problem getting guys in the building, like you said. You're sitting in the center of everything.
Of everything, bro.
Your mileage for recruiting is low. You don't have to take private planes to California and Texas and Ohio and Connecticut, Massachusetts. You probably ain't never been to Massachusetts. Probably ain't never been to Canada. You probably had to go down the street, cross state lines one time, had a camp, kids camp. I mean, come on now, Kirby. Let's be fair about this. You're not scouring the country for talent. You're just signing checks and stacking players. And if they don't like the certain attention because they a certain quality or aspect of a player, they leave. You just not used to that part. Now, Notre Dame, we have a little bit more integrity that I think kids can grasp onto. They feel a brighter future if they stay, and they feel like things will work out. Maybe, they got the grotto right there. So if they want to pray on it, it's right there. I think that gives kids a little bit more encouragement to stay around.
Yeah.
And so far, Marcus Freeman has been a good dude. I haven't heard on the recruiting wire Marcus Freeman lying to kids and getting in these recruiting battles where he doing all type of unscrupulous things to get kids or anything. But I do think Marcus Freeman got that trust with recruits where they're like, all right, he may not be bull driving all the way. And I think Notre Dame being so strict kind of backs that up. He's like, well, shit, I can't give you $10 million. I can't do that, Bryce. But however, you come here, you can win. And Marcus Freeman, through his record and through his accolades, has shown he can at least win.
All right, Left. Before we get out of here, man. Any games you looking forward? We got a lot of bowl games on Saturday. You looking forward to anything? Somebody just gave an update. Johnny S. Navy and Oklahoma tied at 14 in the first half. And at John Massey, I purposely ignored your multiple posts about Chicago sports last night. Look, man.
Got one of the best teams around, man.
Where?
Well, you got one of the better players around that y'all need to support more, man. I don't know why y'all not showing support to my guy.
Because he's a scrub. He's a tier 3 NBA player.
Tier 3, Sean, that's disrespectful.
Is he on the same tier? Is he on tier 1?
He's a tier 2 superstar.
So he's the same level player as LeBron James?
Now, I know you didn't try to say he's a tier 2 player.
At this point, LeBron is definitely a tier 2 player.
Not the guy that got 34 when he was 23 on Christmas and got 31 when he's 34 on Christmas in 2024. Not that guy.
Can LeBron James carry a team to a championship?
It's a different game. It's a different game.
LeBron, answer the question. Can LeBron James carry a team to a championship as the number one option?
With the right coach, yes. Can he get a Phil Jackson? Can he get a Phil Jackson? Can he at least get a Mike Krzyzewski?
Okay, wait. Is Jaylen Brown from the Celtics a tier 2 basketball player?
Yes, because he can't shoot with his left. He can't go with his left. He can't do anything with his left.
Okay, he's better than Zach LaVine. So
what we talking about? Better team. Come on.
Wait a minute. Is Jaylen Brown a tier 2 basketball player?
Jalen who?
Jalen Bronson from the Knicks.
Oh, he's like a tier 3.
Okay, he's better, but he's better than Zach LaVine, though.
See.
Wait a minute. Is Trae Young a tier 2 basketball player?
He's tier 3 because he's limited.
But he's better than Zach LaVine.
He can score.
He
can score the ball. He can score the ball.
What are you talking about? He's leading the league in assists. What are you talking about? He can score the ball.
He's obviously a ball dominant. He's a ball dominant point guard that can shoot,
that can distribute and score. He does what he's supposed to do.
But as an overall basketball player, you're taking Zach LaVine all day.
What does Zach LaVine do besides score? Name me the other things Zach LaVine does besides score.
Great leadership.
That's definitely not it.
Team defense.
He's horrible defensively. What are you talking about?
Team, not individually. Team defense.
He's horrible team defense. He's the guy that literally is the breakdown in team defense consistently.
Well, you're asking him to score 50 a game, so it's a balance.
And he can't score 50 a game. He's incapable of scoring 50 a game. He can't even score 25 a game.
He played great last night.
And they lost by 8. They gave up 150 points to Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks.
He needs a team now. Kobe White's got to step up. I need a big.
Wait. So everybody else's fault. It's everybody else's fault.
LeBron can't carry a team by himself, so can Zach LaVine.
Wait a minute. Is Anthony Edwards a tier 2 basketball player?
Anthony Edwards is tier 1.
Wait. He's what?
Anthony Edwards is going to be the face of the league. He's a tier 1 basketball player.
Well, he's not there yet.
Who's tier 1?
He's not tier 1 to me. He's tier 2.
Who's tier 1 to you?
See, y'all, you the type. See, you say the word friend real loosely, don't you? Like you call catfish, like, man, that's my friend. I don't do that. You real loose with the word friend. I'm not that loose. I'm not loose with that tier 1. That tier 1, there's some certain things you have to accomplish before you get there tier 1. Like Eli
What's your Kimmy? So what are you saying? Paul George? He's tier 1?
That cat. Paul George don't have no championship. What you talking about?
Who's a tier 1, man?
Wait a minute. I'll give you a great example. Is Zach LaVine better than Tyrese Maxey?
Tyrese is playing better right now, but
just answer. Right now? What? You see what he did in the playoffs against the Knicks last year?
Last year.
He was playing better than Zach LaVine last year. He's playing better than Zach LaVine this year. What are we talking about?
Right now, he's playing better.
He's a better basketball player.
He's playing better, yeah, but I would still take Zach LaVine long run.
With 2 bad knees, you would take Zach LaVine over Tyrese Maxey.
If you put Zach LaVine in a better situation, he would be the superstar that y'all paying him to be.
If Zach LaVine okay, answer this question. If Zach LaVine went to Denver right now, what option would he be on that team?
If he went to where?
If he went to the Denver Nuggets right now, what option would he be on that team?
3.
So you want me to believe that I'm supposed to be excited about a dude that would be a 3rd option on another team?
Or Denver Nuggets just won a championship.
Stop playing with me. And he might not be the 3rd option with the way Michael Porter Jr. is playing. Stop playing.
Michael Porter Jr. doesn't play defense. He automatically doesn't count.
See, just like Zach LaVine. He never plays defense. You're exactly right.
Michael Porter doesn't play defense as a 3rd option. That's not good.
At the end of the day, I'm done with the Zach LaVine conversation because he's trash. But at the end of the day, to all the National Football League fans and all the football fans, I want to apologize from the bottom of my heart that you had to watch that atrocity on that football field last night. I apologize. I'm embarrassed that the city of Chicago represented football in that form and manifested that to your eyes last night. I apologize. From the residents of the city of Chicago, I apologize. That's despicable. That was absolutely despicable. Everything about it. From the top down. From the suites, the owner suite, the GM suite, the president suite, head coaching, everything. Despicable. Trash. Ridiculous. And it's not getting any better because the Lions ain't going nowhere, the Packers ain't going nowhere, and the Vikings ain't going nowhere. I'm sorry, Bears fans. If we have Bears fans sitting in here, it's going to be a long ride. It's going to be a long, cold winter. As Bears fan. Long, cold winter. That's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. I have zero faith that they find the right coach. Zero. None. None. It is what it is, bro. The top 5 pick is coming to the Chicago Bears. Incredible. But I thought the quarterback was supposed to change everything. That's what they told us. It's the quarterback. If we switch quarterbacks, everything's going to change. That's what we know. It's the greatest situation any number 1 overall pick has ever walked into. The most talent any number 1 overall pick has ever had. Yep. 3 points, ladies and gentlemen. 3 points. 3 on national TV for the entire nation to watch, the entire world to watch. 3 points. Left, I believe you could have walked on Soldier Field last night and engineered 1 scoring drive.
Okay, all right.
No. I truly believe that.
Ryan Poles got to draft better.
No. Ryan Poles needs to go. He doesn't need to have.
He just got there.
No, he didn't. He hired Matt Eberflus. Then he kept Matt Eberflus when he had a chance to get rid of him. Then he hired 2 bad OCs. He ruined Justin Fields, and he's in the process of ruining another quarterback. Yes, he doesn't know how to draft offensive linemen, but he played offensive lineman. Look at here. He is literally an NFL offensive lineman and doesn't know how to draft an offensive lineman. He
Come
went
on,
to the fourth.
2 years? You're going to judge him harshly?
3 years. This is 3 years. This is not 2 years. This is 3rd year. Get it right. This is 3rd year. Get it right.
You're going to count the first year, though? I mean, come on.
This is 3rd year. Absolutely.
He had a fire. He had a dumpster fire.
No, he didn't have a dumpster fire. That's a lie. Stop believing that lie. He chose to get rid of Roquan Smith. He chose to get rid of David Montgomery. He chose to get rid of the veteran offensive linemen that he had that have gone elsewhere and been successful. He made those choices to go out and draft trash offensive linemen, to go out and draft in the 3rd round a left tackle from Princeton, a left tackle from Princeton, from Yale. That's trash. Absolute trash in the 3rd round. He took a punter in the 4th round. A punter. He took a defensive tackle. There's a 3 technique that never played 3 technique in his life in college football. He took him in the 3rd round, and he was a healthy scratch last night in his 2nd year. Yes, he needs to go. Immediately. He gave away a 2nd round pick for Chase Claypool. Yes, he needs to go immediately.
Oh my goodness.
Immediately.
You're being harsh.
I'm being what?
How can he build consistency?
What am I being? Wait. Here's the kicker. He went when he needed a left tackle. He went and got an average right tackle and drafted an average right tackle because he didn't like the fact that Jalen Carter has some speeding tickets. Don't talk, dude. Don't talk to me, bro.
It's on and off the field issues that matters.
Did it matter for the Eagles? Did it matter for the Eagles?
Philadelphia is a different city. You know, Chicago a little different.
Are we trying to build a church, or are we trying to win football games? Let me know. Because if you're looking to be the cleanest program in the National Football League, then go right ahead. With your hard knocks, we can't have any cursing. Let the producers know we're not going to allow cursing on Hard Knocks.
That's good stewardship, man.
This is the Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen. This is your Chicago Bears. And I have no problem with that. If that's what they want their organization to be, That's fine. That's fine. Stand on it. I tip my cap.
Man, come on
I
over
tip
to
my cap.
Jacksonville, man. Come on over to the Jacksonville Jaguars, man. We got something cooking over there, man.
Never.
What?
Never. As I tweeted last night, I got Notre Dame football. I'm good. I got Notre Dame football. And every now and then, I just go out to LA and I cheer for the Dodgers. I'm good. World Series champion Dodgers, by the way. I'm good. I have my supplements. I have my sporting supplements. I'm good. I'm good. But right now, the Blackhawks, trash. White Sox, trash. Cubs, trash. Bears, trash. Bulls, trash. Just not good. So I'm going to get off here today, and I'm going to go over here to the Big Dipper tournament, and I'm going to watch me some really good Chicago high school basketball. I can always depend on that. I can always depend on
high school basketball is your go-to.
Yeah, I can always go find me some good stuff in Chicago. I can rep Chicago all day. Shout out to the Chicago rooted Kenneth Grant. Shout out to his mom, Yvonne, uncle, aunt, grew up together, went to school together, went to high school together. Happy day for her. She was in tears yesterday. Her son Kenneth Grant declared for the NFL draft in a long journey. Notre Dame fans, people in 219. I know he went to high school in 219. He was born in Chicago. His roots are in Chicago. Let me give love to my city. Nobody's trying to steal the shine from the 219. I had people attacking me on social media yesterday. He went to Maryville. Yeah,
attacked?
Yeah, dude, that's fine. Rep the 219. Doesn't change a thing because his roots are in Chicago. It ain't changing.
Oh, you're giving passes. Okay.
No. Wait. First of all, he was literally born in the city of Chicago and they moved to Indiana. Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Like many people.
Chicago. Oh, you're giving dual citizenships now. Okay.
No. You moved to Indiana because it's cheaper. That's smart. You know what I mean? People drive to Chicago to work but live in Indiana. They grew up in Chicago. They moved to Indiana because the housing is cheaper. Everything is cheaper. Taxes are cheaper. And then they take the Metro train into the city to go to work each and every day.
So you can claim Chicago outside of Chicago is what you say.
Wait a minute. If you're born in Chicago, how can I tell you not from Chicago? This is a true story. This is a true story. Smino. You know Smino, the artist?
Yeah.
Yeah, Smino. Baby girl was in the studio with Smino before she came home. So Smino heard her talking to some people in the studio, and he was like, "Man, you from Chicago?" And she was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Man, you ain't from Chicago." She was like, "What? How you gonna tell me I'm not from Chicago?" He was like, you south of 120 something?" And she was like, "My people are from Roseland and West Portland. What are you talking about?" He was like, "Oh, okay." Like, dude, don't try to check me. Don't try to check me. You not from Chicago. No, bro. If you born here, that flag is waving. She went to Homewood High School. Her upbringing was very suburban, but her roots are South Side Chicago. She spent summers on the West Side. I tell her all the time, just because you went to a suburban school, don't let cats take your flag. Wave that bad fella. Wave it high.
Bell Garden.
You're darn right. Wave it high. So shout out to my girl, Iwana Grant, her husband, Kenneth. Man, tears flowing yesterday. Incredible journey. Love it. Gotta love it. So, man, you and Raven, man, y'all continue to put a plan together for when baby girl shows up, because it's gonna be something else for you, Left. That's all I can say.
The competition will start.
Now, see, you went the opposite of mine. See, I asked for my baby girl first. Because we actually I was like, y'all want my daughter first. And everybody was like, man, you don't want your boy first? I was like, no, I want my daughter first. And they were like, why? I said, because I would much rather have my daughter's friends, older friends, around my younger boy than the reverse.
That's right. That's right.
I do not want my son's friends being older around my younger daughter. No way.
Don't need it.
No. I definitely probably would end up assaulting somebody.
Definitely going to jail over that.
Man,
I get out.
Well, let's make some picks on these Saturday games, Left. I'm gonna run through them for you.
Oh, that's a solid chess move, Sean.
What's that? What'd you say?
That's a solid chess move, getting the daughter first, man.
Oh, sir. I definitely thought about it. Like, no, right? Because we were the older boys with twin sisters, with young twin sisters. So I experienced it. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna put a stop to this. We're gonna put a stop to this bull.
Said you learn from experience, man.
Yes, sir. Later on tonight, two teams that Notre Dame has faced, USC and Texas A&M, face off in the Las Vegas Bowl. Who do you have in that one, Left?
Oh, the loser bowl? Shoot, man. The Constellation Bronze Cup Bowl? Okay. You know, I give it to Texas A&M. They just picked up a couple good recruits that I know of, and Mike Elko's a good guy. You know, I want to see him finish the season strong and redeem himself, man. And I think they had opportunities to be in the playoffs, so I want to see them be able to finish the season right.
Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt, the Birmingham Bowl.
I think Georgia Tech played their Super Bowl against Georgia. This is their end of the season battle, and I think Vanderbilt, every win for them is a big thing. So they'll be more motivated in this game, and I got Vanderbilt.
Syracuse and Washington State, Left.
I like Fred Brown a lot. We'll go with Syracuse and Kyle McCord.
And I'm pretty sure you're picking Colorado. Bowl game against BYU.
Yeah, because they're playing. So if they wasn't playing, I probably would have went BYU.
All right, just some of the matchups from this weekend. Thank you guys for joining this week. Players only this weekend, I believe. That is the plan.
Yep.
The Notre Dame guys will be jumping on, giving their thoughts on the Indiana game and the upcoming matchup with Georgia. They are fired up. I can tell you that. They are fired up. So for Left, SD2 mics, audio edibles, Apple Podcast, Spotify, go check it out, stream, listen. Each and every day we'll you into this matchup on Wednesday. All right. So for Left, SD2 mics, have a great, fantastic weekend. But most of all, make sure you continue to spin it different.
Yeah.